Hello everyone, my name is Star Wars Archivist and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at who wins between Grandmaster Luke's Padawan and Jedi General Anakin's Padawan. Jacen Solo aka Darth Caedus versus Ahsoka Tano aka Fulcrum. I'll be taking a look at both characters, then go over what a fight between the two would look like. I'll talk about who wins and why, so let's get into it. Now before I start, I want to let you guys know I'm doing a brief character history, so if it feels like I'm skimming or skipping things, I just want you to know this isn't supposed to be like a full character breakdown. If you guys want a full character breakdown, then just leave in the comments which one you guys would like to see. Jacen Solo was born at 9 ABY and is the older son of Leia Organa and Han Solo. He has a twin sister named Jacen Solo and a younger brother named Anakin Solo. While he was very young, he was the target of multiple kidnapping attempts that were all thwarted, and developed an affinity with creatures. Eventually, when he and his twin sister were old enough, they went to train at Luke's Jedi Praxum. At the Jedi Praxum, Jacen was trained in the ways of the Force by not only Luke but other trained Jedi like Tion. He made friends with a girl named Tenel Ka Jo and a Wookiee named Lobaka. It was at the Praxum Jacen made his lightsaber, which came in handy when he faced threats like assassins and stormtroopers. During his time at the Praxum, Jacen faced many threats like the Shadow Academy. The Shadow Academy was part of the Second Imperium, which trained young kids to be Dark Jedi to face Luke's Praxum. Then Jacen faced the Diversity Alliance, a group of non-human beings who were tired of human dominance and wanted to wipe them all out. Finally, Jacen helped track a friend's father, which meant navigating through the criminal underworld. Jacen faces each of these threats while he is still a youngling. After thwarting these threats to the New Republic, Master Luke takes both Jacen Solo and Anakin Solo to be his Padawans. Jacen as Luke's Padawan was somewhat tense because Jacen didn't agree with some of the things the Jedi were doing, like Luke wanting to restart the Order in a centralized way, and even wasn't fully on board with the structure of the Jedi Praxum. But something that changed the entire galaxy appeared, the Yuuzhan Vong. Unlike the Empire or the Separatists, the Vong threatened the entire galaxy, forcing the New Republic, the Jedi, and even remnants of the Empire to team up. As Luke's Padawan, Jacen was actually against using the Force for aggression. That is not to say he did nothing. He still fought in major battles like the Battle of Helska IV, where Jacen fought alongside his master against the Yuuzhan Vong, and the Battle of Dantooine, where he defended refugees against Yuuzhan Vong forces. However, even during these fights, he was against aggressive actions. This was until the Battle of Duro, when his mother was injured and Jacen faced the war chief of the Yuuzhan Vong, Zavong La. It was during this battle that he realized he needed to act more and help in the war. He was later put on a Jedi strike team that would change his life. Jacen, Jaina, and Anakin, the Solo children, were put on a strike team to destroy the Voxen, Jedi hunting beasts, on a Yuuzhan Vong world called Mirkur. While here, they faced a lot of resistance like Yuuzhan Vong warriors and Voxen packs. After a lot of fighting and Dark Jedi abandoning the mission and taking their escape ship, Anakin Solo gave his life to save his siblings, allowing Jacen to kill the Voxen Queen. Unfortunately, while the mission technically succeeded, a lot of the team did not survive or make it out. Jaina escaped while Jacen was captured, and some people presumed him dead. It was during this time that he was captured that Jacen was put in the embrace of pain, where he spent months being put through the worst pain imaginable. It was in the embrace of pain that he abandoned the light versus dark way of thinking and began to evolve in his understanding of the Force. He gets trained in the Yuuzhan Vong way of life and is starved and broken down under his mentor Vergir. Jacen spends a year in captivity of the Yuuzhan Vong and led them to believe he had converted to their side. Eventually, he spotted an opportunity and defeated multiple Vong warriors. Jacen even faces his master Vergir and defeats her but spares her. He steals a Vong ship and escapes, returning to the Jedi and his family. With Jacen back, it is bittersweet as people are glad to see him alive while he is also a different person in the way he carries himself and the way he thinks. It is during the Battle of Ebac 9 that really cemented his return. It was during this battle that Virgir sacrifices herself to help Jacen, and Jacen was present when Jaina faces Zavong La in single combat. Jaina uses her overwhelming speed and precision strikes to kill the Uzan Vong War Master. This was a huge victory for the Jedi Order, where Luke decided that his Padawan Jacen had earned the rank of Jedi Knight. With Jacen returning as a knight, he had changed during his time as a captive of the Uzan Vong. Now he was in favor of the Jedi Council. Jacen even joined the final mission of the Uzan Vong War to Zenoma Sekat to kill the Vong overlord Shimra. Luke, Jaina, and Jacen had arrived and fought through the Vong forces. Luke and Jacen fought Shimra while Jaina went after the jester Onimi. After a battle, Luke was able to kill Shimra while Jacen ended up unarmed, but Luke was injured, so Jacen pressed on to help Jaina. Jacen caught up to Jaina, who had been paralyzed by Onimi. It was revealed that Onimi was an Uzan Vong who could actually use the Force and was controlling Shimra as a puppet ruler. When Onimi prepared to fight Jacen, Jacen heard his brother Anakin through the Force. Jacen gave himself entirely to the Force. Jacen experienced a state of oneness unlike any Jedi had before, and Onimi was unable to keep up and was dissolved by his own poisons. After Onimi and Shimra were defeated, the Uzan Vong surrendered and were exiled to Zonama Sekat. Jacen, having experienced that oneness with the Force, had put an end to the Uzan Vong War and started to think about forces beyond the light and dark side, so Jacen leaves the Jedi Order to study all aspects of the Force. Jacen traveled the galaxy for 5 years on his own and learned from many different Force users, like the Aang-Ti monks, Dathomari witches, Valinasi, Barrando sages, sorcerers of Rand, and even the Jensari, who blend Jedi and Sith teachings. Learning from each of these groups gave Jacen new understandings of the Force and a sense of pride in believing no one understood the Force like he does. When he returns from his trip, he seeks out Tenoka first, and after they spend a night together, she ends up carrying his child. Jacen initially refuses to rejoin the Jedi Order because he considers their view too narrow. However, a former Jedi is leading a species known as the Killik, which is mentally influencing Jacen Solo and other Jedi. Jacen finally rejoins to help with this new threat. Jacen fights against the Killik and is one of the best fighters, but his skill and methods unsettle other Jedi and allies. Jacen doesn't seem to care and begins to believe the ends justify the means. He begins to use darker tactics such as controlling or influencing Tenoka's advisor, and he even uses Force lightning to kill an assassin with little hesitation. But despite all this, Luke Skywalker allows his son Ben Skywalker to join Jacen Solo on missions. Jacen begins to teach Ben his understanding of the Force instead of the Jedi way, but after Ben is on Happus, he accidentally learns of Alana's existence, Jacen's daughter. Jacen decides to wipe Ben's mind to protect his secrets, but rationalizes it as kindness. As the Killik expansion grows, Jacen gets visions of another galaxy-wide war greater than the Clone Wars or the Uzan Vong War, and begins to argue that the Jedi need a single ultimate authority. This directly contradicts Luke's style of leadership, but Jacen starts to push Jedi into more aggressive militarized roles. While Jacen does this, he continues to warp Ben Skywalker to think how he does, and Ben begins to admire Jacen. When the council begins discussing what to do with the leader of the Killik, Unu Thul, Jacen argues for assassinating him while the rest of the Jedi disagree and want to find another way. During battles with the Killik, Jacen uses techniques such as battle meditation, mental domination, and Force illusions, which has some dark side nature to them. As he uses more dark side Force abilities, he also begins to manipulate other Jedi. During the final confrontation with the Killik, the Battle of Ugetu Nebula, Jacen joins the strike team and is prepared to kill Unu Thul, even manipulating Leia and Jaina to support him. But before Luke kills him, Luke shows mercy, only injuring Unu Thul to sever his connection to the Killik, which ends the war. but Jacen sees Luke as too weak to do what needs to be done. With the war now over, Jacen believes the Jedi are too weak to protect the galaxy and believes peace can only come from control. 5 years after the war with the Killik, some planets, led by Corellia, want to separate from the Galactic Alliance. The Galactic Alliance sends Jacen and his Padawan Ben Skywalker to investigate, which leads to Jacen killing Corellian agents. This leads to escalated fighting, which gives Jacen a vision of galaxy-wide chaos unless someone takes charge. It is during this war that Jacen meets one of Vader's students, Lumia. She was a Sith who wants to train Jacen, but Jedi Nalani Din tries to stop him. This duel results in Jacen getting his first Jedi kill. As the fighting gets more intense, Corellia allies with other planets such as Fondor, and they form the Confederation, starting another war. The Galactic Alliance Chief appoints Jacen as the leader of the Galactic Alliance Guard, a secret police force which Jacen uses to arrest anyone he wants. He uses fear and control. It is during this time that he leads many raids, killing many Corellian fighters, but he also accidentally kills Boba Fett's daughter, Aelin Vel, during an interrogation. During this time, the Jedi Order becomes divided on what to do about Jacen, with some supporting his leadership and others against it. Meanwhile, Ben continues as Jacen's Padawan, which Luke and Mara become unhappy with. Jacen was not above going against his own family, even threatening to arrest his parents Han and Leia for assisting Corellians. That isn't to say he's abandoned his family. If anything, his weak spot was Tano Ka and his daughter Alana. Jacen even slaughtered assassins sent for them. During this time, he continues to train with Lumia, even as Lumia gains a new ally in Alima Rar, which Jacen asserts his dominance over. Jacen chooses to fully embrace the Sith path, which means he needs to make a personal sacrifice, and he chooses his aunt Mara Jade Skywalker. Little did he know that Mara found out Jacen was trying to turn Ben into his Sith apprentice and resolved to kill Jacen. Mara ambushed Jacen, leading to an intense duel where she outmatched him in close quarters due to her speed and skill. Jacen stays alive using his Force techniques. Finally, before she could kill him, Jacen created a Force illusion of Ben, her son, which gave him an opening to stab her with a poison dart that killed Mara Jade Skywalker. Having completed this task, he became Darth Caedus. However, Luke becomes furious that his wife was killed and hunts down Lumia, believing it was her, only to kill her and find out it was his nephew who killed his wife. In the Galactic Alliance, Jacen was able to organize a coup and take over as the new leader, even as Darth Caedus. However, now that Luke knew that it was Jacen who not only killed his wife, but also tortured his son and ordered the bombing of Kashyyyk, Luke decides it's time for him to step in. He infiltrates Jacen's capital ship, the Anakin Solo, named after his deceased brother. Luke ambushes Jacen by igniting his saber and immediately beginning the assault. Jacen barely has time to ignite his saber before Luke is on him. Luke is so powerful and skilled that Jacen wonders if he's strong enough to stop him. He's completely outclassed and outmatched by Luke. Even when Caedus tries dirty tricks, he couldn't slow Luke down. The duel ending with Luke nearly killing Jacen. Just before Luke could kill Jacen, Ben stabs Jacen in the back with a vibro blade. It snapped Luke out of his rage and he decided Jacen wasn't worth falling to the dark side for. He spares Jacen and leaves, realizing someone else would have to kill Jacen. Darth Caedus avoided direct confrontation with Luke after the duel, but Luke spared him, and that made him think it was proof that his path was necessary. Jacen begins to become more paranoid and even tries to manipulate Tano Ka. Jacen continues to try and gain more power, hoping he is building a better galaxy for his daughter. However, when Jacen finds out about a weapon that will kill his daughter, he focuses on that. Unfortunately for him, his twin sister had come to confront him. Jacen was already injured and had one arm by the time they dueled.
Jaina? the same Tenokon on Alana.
Sure you are, just like you saved his soul.
Ahsoka would have made the same choice. In fact, he did. Jaina, we don't have time for this.
So die already!
You're in danger. Take Alana. Run.
Though Jacen held the upper hand, he was already gravely injured. He decided to warn Tenel Ka and Alana instead of defend himself. In this moment, Jaina believed he became Jacen Solo again and died as Jacen instead of Darth Caedus. Ahsoka was born in 36 BBY, and even at a young age, she showed an affinity with the Force, being able to reach out to a Rakshir and ride it. When she was 3 years old, she was found by Plo Koon and brought to the Jedi Temple of Coruscant. She trained there as a youngling, and like other Jedi before her, she built her first lightsaber after getting her crystal from Elam. She was able to sense the crystals and built her lightsaber with Huyang. When Ahsoka was 14, the galaxy entered a widespread war. A group of planets had separated from the Galactic Republic and formed the Separatist Alliance. The Separatists built a droid army while the Republic built a clone army made from the DNA of Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett. The war was galaxy-wide, which drew Jedi in as generals for the Republic. Ahsoka was promoted to Padawan, which made her a Jedi commander. She was assigned to General Anakin Skywalker as his Padawan, and after her assistance at the Battle of Christophsis, the return of Jabba the Hutt's son, and even briefly dueling Asajj Ventress, who was the student of Darth Tyrannus, hers and Anakin's relationship smoothed out, and Anakin accepted her as his Padawan.
Where is Skywalker?
Right here, Ventress.
During the beginning of the Clone Wars, she goes on many missions with Anakin, like the Battle of Ryloth, where she doesn't listen and it leads to casualties. She does learn from this and later helps win the battle. She also assists Anakin during the fight against the Malevolence. Later, during a search for a missing R2-D2, she even briefly duels General Grievous, and though she was outmatched, she escaped and survived.
Sorry to interrupt your playtime, Grumpy, but wouldn't you prefer a challenge?
That wouldn't be you!
Later, she was helping to guard a captured Newt Gunray and dueled Ventress again, but this time lost decisively and was trapped. However, after she was freed, Ahsoka and Master Luminara dueled Ventress together, and while Ventress escaped, this was the first time Ahsoka held her own in a duel.
We have to find her. We can't let her get to Gunray. We'll take her together.
During the second half of the first year of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka found more personal independence. She grew more after her failure on Ryloth and became more cautious, like when she helped farmers defend their homes from pirate Hondo Ohnaka. She also took part in the Second Battle of Geonosis, where she and fellow Padawan Barriss Offee snuck into a droid foundry where they completed their mission but got buried under rubble. Ahsoka saved them both by getting in contact with Anakin to give them their location. Due to her success and smart thinking, Anakin began to trust her more.
Come on, Rex.
Up and away.
That isn't to say she didn't still make mistakes, like when her lightsaber was stolen by a pickpocket, but she was able to recover it before it left the planet. As her skill and power grew in the Force, so did her connection to the Force, leading her to see visions of the future, like when she got visions of Aurra Sing planning to assassinate Padme Amidala. Ahsoka traveled with Padme and faced Aurra Sing and saved Padme.
Hired you.
Enough talk. Time to see what you're made of, kid. No!
This helped Ahsoka with her confidence in her own skill. As Ahsoka undertook more dangerous missions, her skill and power grew as she relied on Anakin less. Shortly after this, Ahsoka built herself a second lightsaber, allowing her to begin wielding 2 lightsabers at once. It took some training with her master to get used to. She also trained with Offee in a sparring match, who told Ahsoka she needed to use her forms more often. She was also trusted with greater responsibility as she was assigned to patrol the streets of Coruscant alone, where she defeated a rogue droid and saved civilians. She was showing that her skill with 2 lightsabers was growing. As her skill grew, she took on more dangerous missions, like when she went on a mission to the Citadel to rescue Master Peel. While on the mission, she free-climbed, fought commander droids, scouted ahead of the group, and was even smack dab in the middle of a battlefield surrounded by battle droids. During their escape, while Ahsoka and Master Peel were fending off an attack, Peel was fatally injured. He then trusted Ahsoka with information he was holding. She returned to the group as they continued to fight their way out. It was Ahsoka who ended up killing the warden of the prison, Commandant Sobek. As they returned to Coruscant, Ahsoka gave the information to the Jedi Council, making the mission a success. Shortly after this, she was helping lead a mission on Felucia when she got captured by a Trandoshan hunter to be released and hunted for sport. On the Trandoshan hunting moon of Waska, she met 3 other Padawans and learned to survive the hunt. Ahsoka convinced them to find a way out, and they began to fight the Trandoshan hunters using only the Force, even though the hunters were armed. Shortly after one of the other Padawans was killed, Ahsoka and the others teamed up with Chewbacca the Wookiee. Together, with the help of other Wookiees, they stormed the Trandoshan base and freed themselves. Ahsoka continued through the war in many more battles like ship combat over Umbara alongside Barriss Offee, going undercover as a slave on Krios, or fighting against Death Watch, and dueled their leader Pre Vizsla, who was armed with the dark saber.
Lux, get to the ship.
I thought you made some friends.
I didn't miss.
She even aided in the training of rebels on Onderon. With her increased experience with not only successful missions, but also deepening understanding of the Force, she was trusted to guide younglings to build their very first lightsaber. She took them to Elam, where the younglings entered a cave to acquire the crystals. Afterwards, Ahsoka introduced the younglings to the lightsaber designer, Hu Yang. As Ahsoka was guiding them to build their lightsaber, they were attacked by Hondo Ohnaka and his pirate crew. Ahsoka dueled Hondo to buy time for the younglings to make an escape, but right as they escaped, Ahsoka was knocked onto Hondo's ship. While she was held captive by Hondo's pirates, the younglings went undercover as circus acts, then freed Ahsoka and escaped. Just before Ahsoka and the younglings could be captured again, General Grievous and the Separatist army arrived and took over the system. Ahsoka then teamed up with Hondo and his pirates to capture a ship for escape. During the escape, Ahsoka Tano dueled Grievous head-on. Though she did have some help, she was mostly fighting him alone. She wasn't able to defeat him, but she put up a fight and escaped with the younglings. Ahsoka undertook more missions in the war until she eventually became a prime suspect in the bombing of the Jedi Temple. She was framed, but while she was looking for evidence to clear her name, she was attacked in a warehouse in the lower levels of Coruscant.
Ventress! I see you've had a change of heart. Why bring me here? Answer me, Ventress! Why?
Ahsoka was captured and brought before the Jedi Council, where due to the overwhelming evidence and lack of trust in her, they decided to expel her from the Jedi Order. Her master, Anakin Skywalker, swore to find proof that she was being framed. Ahsoka was brought to court in the Galactic Republic to be tried as a traitor, where she was defended by Padme Amidala. Meanwhile, Anakin had found proof that it was Barriss Offee who was framing Ahsoka. He dueled her and brought her in, where she confessed to being the one behind the bombings, which cleared Ahsoka of all charges. The Council apologized to Ahsoka and offered her back into the Jedi Order, but as a knight, no longer as a Padawan. Ahsoka, now no longer trusting the Order, refused to come back and left to find her own path in life. After leaving the Jedi Order, Ahsoka drifted around Coruscant for a while, until she was approached by Bo-Katan Kryze to help capture Maul on Mandalore. Ahsoka met with Anakin again, and he gave her 2 blue lightsabers and a part of the 501st to go to Mandalore and help out. After the siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka found Maul, who tried to warn her about the Empire in Order 66. But when he tried to warn her about Anakin's fall to the dark side, she refused to believe him and dueled him to bring him in for questioning.
You're lucky Anakin didn't show up. The way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long.
Kenobi's arrogance.
You'll find I have many qualities for you to dislike. Obi-Wan was right. You are difficult to kill.
After capturing Maul, Ahsoka was going to bring him back to Coruscant, but in the middle of transit, Order 66 hit. Ahsoka was stuck on a Star Destroyer surrounded by clones. The ship ended up crashing and Ahsoka buried the bodies of the clones that died. She then left her lightsabers there for Vader to find. After the Empire rose, Ahsoka went into hiding and took the name Ashla. She hid on planets like Thebeska and Rada. On these planets, she helped train the locals into rebels and even killed the 6th brother. It was when she was on a farming planet that the 11th brother showed up and burned the village to the ground. After the death of the 11th brother, Ahsoka officially joined the rebellion, taking the name Fulcrum for missions. She would help out even the Ghost crew, including Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus and his Padawan Ezra Bridger. Ahsoka would occasionally help out on missions and even help train Ezra. But it was on a trip to the Temple on the Thal that Ezra was given a message by Yoda to visit Malachor. During this trip to Malachor, they would find an ancient Sith temple, and Ahsoka would have to fight her way through multiple Inquisitors and eventually Darth Vader himself.
What are we waiting for?
Why would you come here?
He knows of the artifact.
The holocron. Do you have it?
You will find out soon enough.
Fall back.
Ahsoka.
Anakin.
Years later, Ezra ended up in the world between worlds, where he could see through time. It was here that he was going to witness the end of Ahsoka and Vader's duel. Ezra watched as Vader out-dueled her and was about to kill her. Ezra reached out and pulled her into the world between worlds to save her from Vader. Shortly after, they were attacked by Palpatine and got separated, so they didn't see each other again. 5 years after Ahsoka was saved with the world between worlds by Ezra, and after Ezra had sacrificed himself to remove Thrawn from the equation, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker and the Rebel Alliance defeated the Empire at the Battle of Endor. Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren went looking for Ezra. While they searched, Ahsoka took Sabine as her Padawan, and they even reunited with Huyang. However, after about a year of training, they parted ways, with Sabine accusing Ahsoka of giving up, and Ahsoka saying Sabine isn't ready. While Ahsoka continued to search for Ezra alone, she also heard rumors of the return of Thrawn. This led her to search out for Morgan Elsbeth, one of Thrawn's former subordinates. Ahsoka had found Morgan Elsbeth in a town on the planet Corvus and wanted to question her, but Morgan had hired a bounty hunter to take Ahsoka out.
Ahsoka Tano! Bo-Katan sent me. We need to talk.
It turns out the Mandalorian bounty hunter by the name of Din Djarin had been searching for her because he was carrying around a Force-sensitive child that needed to get trained. She agreed to help if the Mandalorian would help her free the town. He agreed, and together they took out all the forces in town, leading to a duel between Ahsoka and Morgan Elsbeth.
Now tell me.
After they free the town together, Ahsoka informs Din Djarin that she cannot train Grogu, instead tells him to take the child to Tython where he can reach out with the Force to a master who will train him. Sometime after this, Ahsoka met Anakin's son Luke Skywalker, who was building a new Jedi temple to train a new generation of Jedi. Luke's first student was Grogu. Ahsoka was on this planet to observe the training of Grogu and construction of this new temple. But some years after Luke began training Grogu, Din came to visit, but Ahsoka warned Din that if Grogu sees Din, it could ruin all of Grogu's training. He gives Ahsoka a gift for Grogu and tells her to keep him safe. Ahsoka later gives the gift to Luke and tells him how much like Anakin he is, before telling him she trusts his instincts and leaves to continue her search for Thrawn. The search for Thrawn leads her to a map to another galaxy, when she has to fight through a bunch of assassin droids. She even reconnects with her old Padawan Sabine Wren, and together they resume the search for Ezra. The search leads them to the planet Cetos, where Dark Jedi are helping in the return of Thrawn. Ahsoka duels the Dark Jedi Baylan Skoll.
Your legacy, like your master's, was one of death and destruction. That was unwise. Get the map!
Sweet.
You know no other way.
Stop!
Destroy it! Step away from her!
As Ahsoka loses the duel to Baylan Skoll, she nearly dies and awoke in the world between worlds, face to face with her old master Anakin. While inside the world between worlds, Ahsoka faces what her master had become and that it is not her fate to follow him. She then chooses to live. As she awakes, she follows the Dark Jedi to another galaxy and the planet Peridia. It is here that she reunites with Ezra Bridger and her Padawan Sabine. Together, they face Thrawn's Night Troopers, but when Morgan Elsbeth tries to slow them down, Ahsoka duels her alone to send Ezra and Sabine ahead to get on the ship back to the Star Wars galaxy.
Your friends are dead. And you will die here. Alone.
Not alone.
Ezra made it onto the ship, but Sabine and Ahsoka are now stuck on Peridia looking for a way home. Alright, now we've looked at both Jedi. One the former Padawan of Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, and the other the former Padawan of General Anakin Skywalker. Both grew into very different people and handled the thought of legacy differently, but which would win in a fight? Ahsoka had been feeling a disturbance in the Force lately. She was meditating to try and find the source of the disturbance when she awoke in the world between worlds. She saw a man in a black cape examining her. He seemed to quickly note her lightsabers as soon as she noted his. She examined his face, and while she didn't know who he was, she did note a resemblance to her master Anakin Skywalker. But that's not all that was familiar. She felt a darkness inside of him that reminded her of Darth Vader. Jacen examined the woman standing before him. She was definitely the one his visions were warning him about. He noted her sabers, then immediately drew his. He wasn't going to wait for her to attack first. If she was the one he was warned about, he needed to deal with her. Jacen ignited his red saber and swung at Ahsoka, who quickly ignited her own to block. Jacen continued his assault on Ahsoka's defenses as she blocked his attacks, but Jacen was not trying to kill. He was prodding her defenses and looking for an opening. Ahsoka was struggling to keep up. He was blending together a few different saber forms as well as styles she'd never seen before. Ahsoka needed room to breathe so she could launch attacks of her own. After she blocked an incoming strike from Jacen, she force pushed him back, but to her surprise he immediately followed it by firing Force Lightning, which she barely had time to block. As Ahsoka recovered from blocking the lightning, she saw Jacen already coming down on her again, but this time far faster and more aggressive, like he had read her. It took all her skill just to keep from being decapitated, let alone trying to counterattack. That's when it happened. Out of the corner of her eye, she could sense an attack coming from behind, then lifted one of her sabers to block, only to find nothing there. Jacen saw the opening and drove his saber into Ahsoka's chest. "Just another obstacle in my way," he said as he deactivated his saber and let her body fall. Jacen didn't know who she was, but he couldn't allow any threats to his galactic stability. Jacen then walked past her to explore this world between worlds. So, yes, Jacen Solo would win in a fight against Ahsoka Tano. Some of you might have saw this coming, some of you might be confused, and some of you might be real angry. So, let me explain. Jacen is far stronger than Ahsoka physically, being able to overpower Jedi, Sith, Mandalorians, and Uzan Vong, who literally spend their entire lives fighting in grave war. Jacen was also faster than Ahsoka, being able to keep up with Mara Jade, deflect blaster bolts at point-blank range, and kept up with Grandmaster Luke, who could move at teleport-like speed. Durability also very easily goes to Jacen, as he was able to take so much punishment and keep fighting, like when Jaina stabbed him in the chest and he kept fighting at full speed, keeping Jaina on the defensive. Now, skill isn't as cut and dry as physicals, because Ahsoka did actually train at the Jedi Temple with forms and stuff. Jacen was proficient in multiple forms and would often swap mid-fight to throw people off. Jacen also mixes in hand-to-hand strikes, force illusions, and manipulations seamlessly into his duels. Ahsoka's a good duelist with great agility, but I'd have to give skill to Jacen. Now, Force Mastery more easily goes to Jacen than lightsaber skill did. Jacen learned and mastered both light and dark techniques. He can affect trained Jedi and even affect multiple people at once. He spent years learning techniques on his pilgrimage from Force users beyond just Jedi or Sith. Ahsoka's strong, but she's just not on the same level that Jacen was. Now, for experience, Ahsoka has fought in many battles through the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War, and even after while hunting Thrawn. But Jacen has fought on the front lines in a lot more incidents, from the Shadow Academy, the Diversity Alliance, the Uzan Vong War, which was even bigger than the Clone Wars, Killik War, and the Second Galactic Civil War. Jacen has a decades-long combat record that's even more varied than Ahsoka's. Now, for notable victories, Ahsoka has faced opponents like General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, Maul, Darth Vader, Inquisitors, and Baylan Skoll, but she never really beat many of them. Ahsoka never beat Grievous, she just escaped him. When she dueled Maul, he was trying to recruit her instead of killing her and held back, and she was nearly killed by Vader until Ezra saved her. She did beat some Inquisitors, and she beat Morgan Elsbeth. Jacen, however, has a better track record with victories, beating people like Vergir, Onimi, Cal Katarn, Ben Skywalker, and Mara Jade. Jacen just has a better list of notable victories than Ahsoka does. Adding everything up, Jacen just completely outclasses Ahsoka in a straight fight. I'm not trying to downplay either character, this is just where my research led me. Alright everyone, this was a long one. I hope you enjoyed. Please drop a like if you enjoyed, and leave in the comments if you agree or what you want to see next. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.